Hello and welcome back to another episode of this week's watches, and like every single week, I say it every time, we have got a true variety for you guys and girls, one I'm really excited to bring you guys, and I think there's going to be something for everyone in this drop. We've got from Rolex with your absolute mainstream classic, one of my favourites, to something very interesting with Habring, we actually have two, to something actually for the ladies or for the gents who like a much smaller watch. We've got a weird and wonderful G-Shock. This really is dynamic and I'm excited to bring you guys and girls this drop. Now, as always, to skip all my ramblings that I do at the start of these videos and to get to the specific watches you would like to see, down in the description there is a timestamp with each watch listed and also a link directly to the website, so don't hang about. This video goes live at 9:30, the watches hit the website at 9:30, and people usually start buying pretty quick, so if you'd like something, get on there and get the purchase made. If you are wanting to inquire, maybe there's some detail that isn't there that you want to know, get in contact via email or Instagram. I will get back to you as quick as possible, but do keep in mind it is Saturday morning and I do have a life as well as running a business. But I do want to say that not this weekend, so the weekend you're watching this, but next weekend we will be at the London Watch Show. It's going to be the 18th, 19th and 20th. So it's the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The Friday is an exclusive sort of afternoon, evening event. I think 300 people only, and I believe they have a few tickets left for that event if you want to come along. And then the Saturday and Sunday is the normal event, as in the normal watch show. Something to keep in mind, I've had a few people email me and message me saying, you know, they wish they could come, but the price just seems ridiculous. I want to touch on that. So whilst it is definitely more expensive than last year, you've got to think this isn't a watch show where you come to just look at watches and see what's the latest from the new brands. You know, it's not an opportunity just to try on watches. Whilst you certainly will be able to do that and you'll find some things that you'll probably never see before, this is a trade show, meaning you are there to buy watches. So let's say a ticket is £100 or whatever it is. I don't actually know how much the normal tickets are, but let's say it's £100. It sounds expensive for a watch show. But let's say you find your dream Rolex. At this show, you're probably going to save at least that £100 on that watch by getting it at more of a trade price than the full whack retail price. That's the beauty of the show, especially if you pay bank transfer. That's a little tip for you guys and girls wanting to haggle with anyone at the show, offer bank transfer. But that's the point. You know, this isn't just to come and wander around and have a good day, whilst you certainly can and you certainly will. It is more focused on buying watches. So if you have a list of watches you're looking to buy, you're probably going to save some money doing it at the show. Therefore, the cost of entering is worth it. Hopefully that makes sense. I've had to explain this to a few people. This isn't a red bar event where you get to sit and talk about watches all day. This is a true trade show. We are there as sellers to sell watches. We're going to have our stock on display and we're going to be competing, with everyone else. So prices will be good. So keep that in mind. We have a huge amount of watches coming soon. On our Instagram, we put on our stories when a watch is coming soon. So always keep an eye on that. And on our profile, you'll see a little tab called Coming Soon. Excuse me, I don't know what happened then. You'll see a little tab called Coming Soon. If you click on that, you'll be able to filter through and see all the watches that aren't yet on the website. They are for sale. So messages if you like what you see and beat the website. For example, we did actually originally have about 13 or 14 pieces for this drop. We now only have 10. And that's happening every single week, so keep that in mind. Get on Instagram if you're not already and make sure you give us a follow. Now we have all the rambling out of the way, let's get on some watches. And first, what's on wrist? So I've been wearing my Fierce Brunswick Brown pretty much every day for a while now, so I've actually switched it out today. And I'm wearing my potentially unique, as I'm calling it, because I don't know for definite, late 1940s Mido. And this is 35mm in all steel. So this is a very special watch, a very unique watch, not something you'll see often at all. And if you have ever seen one, if you've ever seen one online, you own one, and it's 35mm, not the smaller size, as I've had a couple of people message me, this full size 35mm, let me know, because I have never seen, and I've not met anyone that's ever seen this exact model in 35mm. I am going to try and get in contact with Mido and see if they have any more information. I've been intending to do it for a long time because I've owned this watch for a while and never got around to actually doing it. But one that's in the collection is going to stay in the collection, and I absolutely love. So that's what's on wrist. But let's get on to the watches that can make their way to your wrist. That was almost smooth, not quite. But we're going to have to start with the absolute classic on the table, and that is the Rolex Submariner No Date. Let's have a closer look. Okay, what a watch to begin with. This is probably one of my favourite references of the Submariner. This is the Rolex Submariner No Date. This one's often referred to as the 4-liner, as you can see, because it has 4 lines of text rather than 2 lines of text at the bottom, and that's it actually makes quite a difference to price. There's a few factors rather than just the fact it has 4 lines. It actually has the better movement, which is the Rolex caliber 3130 inside. As you can see, this one still has a sticker on the back. That isn't the factory original sticker from sale. That is a service sticker, because this came back from a full Rolex service from November 2021. So it has everything with it, box papers from July 2009, and it has a Rolex service as well, and still under their 2-year warranty that they provide. So this is as good as it gets. You know, the case, if I can get that in focus, you can see is impeccable. You know, it's definitely obviously been polished, that's what Rolex did, but they've done it beautifully. The flanks on those cases are nice and strong. This is far from over polished. If anyone even suggests this is over polished, they have no idea what they're on about. This is a strong and good case. This is the reference 14060M, and it has the drilled lug holes, as you can see. Making for a quick change of the strap, nice and easy. It does obviously have the old style bracelet and clasp, as you'd expect for a 2009 watch, but it's all very good. It still has a dive extension. It has all of its spare links, so this is a full bracelet, full set, everything with it. Go see the photos and you'll see. A V serial, but the papers are signed July 2009. This, as I said, is my favorite Rolex Submariner because I prefer the simplicity of the no date. I think it's absolutely stunning, and this is just one good looking watch. Beautifully designed, and it's just stood the test of time. You know, the old Submariners look fantastic, the modern ones look brilliant. They actually wear super well. This is a gorgeous watch, and one I think you'll be hard pressed to sort of find a better classic dive watch that just works in all attire, all situations. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my 7-inch wrist. I really do prefer these pre-ceramic references, especially the 5-digit references, because the case wears so beautifully. This is 40mm by 47mm lug to lug, only 12mm thick, so it's nice and thin for a dive watch, and 20mm lug, so you can swap this out on a NATO leather strap, whatever you want to wear it on. However, I think it looks best on the bracelet personally, and especially when it's in this kind of condition. So don't hesitate on this one, it won't last long. Especially considering it's a complete set, Rolex service, all the good stuff you want with your modern Rolex. Go check it out. Now let's move on to something from Habring. Now we have had a few Habrings over the years. I'm a big fan of what they do. I'm a big fan of the story and the family and everything, how they do things. It's fantastic. But this is a really interesting one. This is a limited edition Timezone edition, jumping second. So let's take a closer look at this beauty. So next up is this absolutely gorgeous Habring. This is a limited edition with Timezone. Now, for those of you who don't know, Timezone is a forum. It's sort of pre-Messina Lab, as we now know. Messina Lab does a lot of collaborations and a lot of productions with different brands, but Timezone was his creation sort of before that, and he sort of helped Habring when it came to this beautiful design. And this is the Erwin jumping seconds, and you might be looking at that going, oh look, it's a quartz watch, but when I flip it over, look at that absolutely gorgeous mechanical movement. That is a manually wound movement that they called the caliber A11S, and this is a jumping seconds mechanism. So essentially it drives the power and releases it once a second, rather than that continuous sort of 21,600 beats an hour or whatever sort of beat rate you've got in your watch. This releases it at a much lower rate of 1 second, and it creates that beautiful tick. This was a complication that they made quite a while ago, and the most famous being the Rolex True Beat, as it's often called. And when it came out, it was not popular. People didn't like it because they thought it made their watch look a bit like a quartz watch and sort of devalued it. So a lot of Rolexes actually had the movement swapped by Rolex themselves from the True Beat just to a regular automatic caliber. So they no longer really exist in the numbers they used to. So it's interesting to see it sort of go back to recreation of this. This isn't the only brand to do it. There's quite a few brands that have done it, but to execute it well is rather difficult. And this, with the beautiful sector dial, this is the reference TZ21, limited to 21 watches total. It's absolutely stunning. It's from 2016. It does come with its full box and paperweight. You can see the condition is fantastic. Original strap in fantastic condition as well. It's just a real beautiful watch, and I think a great execution. These have definitely gone up in value, so you know, when you see it, don't be surprised when you see the price. Again, with only 21 ever made, it's the kind of thing of good luck finding another that isn't in the hands of a collector who wants to keep it. And this will likely fall into the hands of a collector who will keep it. So this one may never be seen again, or at least for not a long time. But let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. Here we go on my wrist. Absolutely beautiful proportions right there. It fits like a glove. This is 38mm by 45.5mm lug to lug, only 10.5mm thick and 20mm lugs. Absolutely elegant on the wrist, and one well worth checking out if you like this kind of design, but you want something a bit different, a head turner, a watch events, and something that will get a conversation started. This is that piece. From a truly rare and limited one to something that's still limited in production, there won't be many out there. That is another jump in seconds from Habring. Let's take a closer look at this one. Next up is this beauty. We had it for sale a little while ago, and I'm very excited to get it back. What a beautiful watch, and one that when we were selling it before, you're going to wish you nabbed it up at that price, because this is now priced where it should be. This is a beautiful watch. This is another jump in second. This is the jump in second Pilot Blue by Habring. As you can see, a very similar movement, not quite the same. This is the A09MS inside. It looks very similar, but there's a couple of changes that was made to the other movement. And this one is from June 2014. It does come with its full box of paperwork. You can see original strap right there. It's a gorgeous watch, absolutely gorgeous. One thing I really love about this watch, and it's very difficult to capture, is the blue. You've got the two tones of blue, but then you've also got these raised indices and numerals that are filled with lume. It's absolutely gorgeous and really catches the light and just glows beautifully. This is one of those watches where in the metal and on the wrist, it will surprise you far more than it will in photos. And that's the beauty of what Habring do. There's all these little minute details that you don't notice until you've got it. And I think that's the beauty. So if you are coming to the London Watch Show and we still have this, definitely check it out. I think you'll be blown away, especially when you see that movement. The finishing is gorgeous. And, you know, what Habring are doing, I think is fantastic. And it's a brand to keep an eye on, especially with the hype of micro, well, not really micro brands, independent brands, I should say. With the hype around those just getting more and more as the days go on. There's brands like Habring, which I still think are slightly under the radar. So there's a good opportunity there. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimension. And here we go. This is perfect for the person who prefers a bigger watch than the sector dial we just had a look at, the TZ21. Because this is 42mm by 52mm lug to lug. It is over that 50mm I always go on about, but it's still very wearable. It's quite surprising, but it is a thick watch at 14.5mm thick and 22mm lugs. So this definitely isn't for the person who likes a small watch, but it is very comfortable on the wrist, and I think will surprise you. So go check this one out. From there to a quintessential Panerai, in my opinion. This is the Black Seal logo, the Radiomir. Let's have a closer look at this one. Next up is one of my favorite classic Panerais. This is the Radiomir Black Seal logo, as it's called, and specifically the PAM00754. You can see sub-seconds over there, really good size at the 45mm, and it will surprise you. I say this every time with Panerai, but do not discard them as instantly unwearable. When they're on wrist, they're surprising how well they fit. But here we go, closed case back, beautifully designed. I love the Radiomir line. It's my favorite with the wire lug. It just helps with wearability. You will cover a lot of the wrist with the watch, but it doesn't wear long, and that's what makes it absolutely wearable. You've got that gorgeous dial, which is just the lume on these things is always incredible, and that's what you expect when it comes to Panerai. Beating away inside this is a manually wound Panerai caliber P6000, and this watch is from December 2021 with its full box and paperwork, so still relatively new under its manufacturer warranty, which I believe is their extended 6-year warranty, which is fantastic. So there's a lot to like about this watch, especially when you see the price we're asking. This is probably one of the best priced modern examples of this watch in pretty much fantastic condition. You might see a couple of hairlines here and there because it is all polished, but for the most part, I think you'll be very, very pleased. Original strap, original buckle, all in also great condition. You can see how little this has been worn. But let's put it on wrist and talk dimensions. And there we go. Yes, this isn't a small watch. So if you like small watches, Panerai and this Panerai isn't for you. But if you do like bigger watches and you feel comfortable wearing something that is a bit bigger, this will surprise you because it's still so wearable at 45mm by 48mm lug to lug. So only a couple of mil longer than it is wide. 12.5mm thick and 26mm lugs. It helps with the wearability, these absolutely monstrous straps that Panerai produce. It makes the watch appear that little bit smaller. It's all sort of trickery when it comes to visuals. It's very interesting but beautifully designed, and I love this watch, so go check it out on the website. From there to what is potentially one of our most sold watches in terms of how many times we've had it, and I think that to be true. I'll have to look at the numbers one day, but this is the Tudor Black Bay 58 Blue, probably one of the best value for money, classically designed and smaller size dive watches. Let's have a closer look. We just got in a further 5 Tudors yesterday, and I love getting Tudor in. It's definitely one of my favorite brands. I think value for money wise, there's no question about it. In terms of what they produce for the price they charge, they are the best comparison to themselves, really. They're absolutely beautiful. Beautiful designs. The 58 is one of my favorites, especially with a smaller case size. I prefer the black, which we just got in, if you do. Fully unworn, so get in contact. But this is the blue, which is absolutely gorgeous. I think it works so well, but the black is a bit more classic for me. This one, full box and papers, as you'd expect, and it is from January 2021. It does come with its manufacturer warranty, but also 12 months by us. And this is the 79030B for blue, as you probably guessed. Inside here is the automatic Tudor caliber MT5402. As you can see, this is a worn example. It's honest, it's been worn, but it's not been overworn. You know, you're not getting a battered watch at all. I think you'll be very, very happy with this, and you won't be shy of wearing it. There's nothing worse than buying a pre-owned watch and you get it and it looks brand new, because then you sort of feel a bit bad for wearing it in. Whereas this one's got a couple of marks already, so you won't feel bad. You'll put it on, you'll enjoy it, you'll wear it as it should be worn. That's the beauty of Tudor. But let's show this one on wrist, as we've done a million times, and talk dimensions. And here we go on my wrist. As you can see, it wears beautifully. I absolutely love this watch. 39mm by 47.5mm lug to lug, only 12mm thick and 20mm lugs. I'm excited to see what Tudor continue to do with this line. I think the 58 is their money shot. It's the one that I think they can just keep elaborating on. You know, as long as they don't make it their only thing, we'll be okay. But I, to be honest, even if they did, I wouldn't really mind, because it's so good. As long as they make plenty of options. I suspect the next one will be the GMT. I'd like to see the steel and gold in this as well, because I think that would look absolutely stunning. And I am a sucker for steel and gold. But anyway, absolutely gorgeous. Go check this one out. It's an absolute bargain on the website. From one classic blue dive watch to a brand that's doing things a little bit different, and that apparently no one knows how to actually pronounce correctly. This is the Dietrich or Dietrich, however you want to say it. Danny's laughing in the background at my terrible pronunciation, but let's have a closer look at this beautiful watch. Next up is that watch from that brand that we can't pronunciate, so we're not going to say it, but there you go. Look at this, absolutely gorgeous. I love the design of this. This is the new SD1 Pacific Blue, and it sold out pretty much instantly. They did a couple of other colorways. I think maybe one has come up for resale. This is the second. So if you missed your opportunity, now's your chance, because they're going to be selling off some of their prototypes. You know, they're okay, but you know, this is the one. This is why they went with this in the end. So it's all well and good selling the prototypes, but clearly they weren't the ones you went with in the end anyway. So this is the one. But absolutely gorgeous. There's a lot of nature inspiration when it comes to this brand, and it's always been that way. We've had some of the older watches which are absolutely bonkers with their open work dials, a lot of sort of leafy colours and leafy tones and leafy textures and sort of shapes. It's very, very interesting. Definitely not for everyone. Whereas what they've done is they've ported that over subtly to this watch with the hands, and they've sort of left it there. Yes, you've got that sort of, I'm sure there's a specific name for the design of the bracelet, but it looks like a honeycomb pattern to my eyes, and I think it's absolutely brilliant. Again, that nature inspiration. You've got the soft, round indices and the sort of curves, and it's very unlike a dive watch, because dive watches are usually angular and aggressive, whereas this is soft and toned down, but still in a very, very beautiful and ergonomic way. And I think that's what they've absolutely nailed in the design of this watch. Plus, there's a little fishy in the crown, so there you go. I'm sold already. And on the case back. No, there wasn't. What am I on about? There is in the crown. You're sorted there. You don't need one on the case back. But absolutely gorgeous watch. It does come with a rubber strap as well. This one is from when it was released, which is December 2021, full box and papers with it, and inside is the automatic Sellita SW200, so rest assured you're getting a good quality movement as well. Nice screw down crown, date well positioned and well executed down there at 6. You don't even really notice it's there, very well done. Let's show on wrist and talk dimensions. Here we go on wrist, and as Danny just pointed out, the dial has basically a sapphire layer above it that the text is printed on, as well as the indices, which is what gives it this very three-dimensional depth, which is absolutely gorgeous, especially with that sort of fume dial, sort of gradient from the inside out. It's gorgeous. Really, really stunning. This is very well executed. My hat goes off, even though I don't wear a hat. I'll put a hat on to take it off, to salute these guys, because they're doing incredible work. But let's talk dimensions. That's what we're here for. This is 38.5mm by 46mm lug to lug, beautifully proportioned, only 12mm thick and 20mm lugs. I really like it on the bracelet. The rubber looks fantastic as well. Plenty of options there. I think you'll be hard pressed to find a more interesting dive watch at this kind of price range with this kind of spec and this kind of build quality. Next up to a brand I could pronounce a bit better, that's the Furlan Marri, and let's have a closer look at this one. This is the Mr. Grey. So another one from Furlan Marri. I love the design of these watches, everyone knows that, because it is very much based on the Francois Bourgel cases and design from the 40s and 50s. And funny enough, if we take a look at these two side by side, you will see that case inspiration pretty much spot on. I mean, how incredibly well designed and well done is the Furlan Marri to have executed this, and even the nutback case. You know, again, if we have a look at these two side by side, you can see that inspiration very well executed. You know, Furlan Marri have nailed this watch, and it's no wonder it's been so popular. And this is the Mr. Grey, as it's called, which is the actual one that was nominated and I think won the GPHG award. I can't remember which one exactly, but this is the one that won, not the other colours, surprisingly. And inside here is a Seiko Mecha Quartz. This one's from September 2021. It does come with its box and papers, and 3 straps total, including the one it comes on. So it was originally sold with just the strap it came on and a spare one. This has an extra one on top of that, which is nice. But yeah, they're sold out straight away. Or it was during the Kickstarter, they only produced as many as they sold, and they have not actually been coming up that often for a little while, so prices are all over the place, but this is a good opportunity to get essentially a brand new one. You know, it is worn, but it's very well looked after, and a gorgeous watch at that. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on wrist. I kind of regret selling mine now. What a beautiful watch. Anyway, so we have 37.7mm by 45.5mm lug to lug, only 11mm thick and 20mm lugs. Well proportioned, not oversized, not too small. It's that perfect midpoint. And with that case design, it just hugs the wrist. It's like it's meant to be there. Absolutely gorgeous. Go check this one out on the website. And don't hesitate, because I think you'll regret it if you do. From there to something you wouldn't usually see at Kibble Watches, and this is a G-Shock, but it's not any old G-Shock. Let's have a closer look at this one. Next up, we have this Casio G-Shock CasiOak, as it's often referred to. This is a Tiffany Sky limited edition to 170, and it was a collaboration between the dial artist, who does all these crazy hand-painted stuff. Some of his like detailed work is amazing. I've always loved keeping an eye on what he does. So it's interesting to get one in and actually see it in the flesh. Granted, this isn't the high-level art he usually does. This is the more fun, creative, you know, paint splatters. That was difficult to say. But this was done with IFLW, which stands for I fucking love watches. How great is that? So this was a collaboration between those two. 170 made total. Absolutely really cool. This is the grey version on the rubber. I mean, there's not an awful lot to say about the watch other than obviously the customised aspect, which you've got to really love or you really don't. It's sort of one or the other. It's sold out instantly, as you may imagine. You've still got all the functions that you'd have on the watch if it was not painted. You've just got that creative part of the paint, which you will either like or you won't. It's from February 2022, so this year. It does come with full box and papers. It comes with everything. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimension. Here we go. They're big watches, but they wear really well. I've actually got this exact grey one, obviously not the painted one, at home. I believe I do. Anyway, this is 45mm by 48mm lug to lug, if you can call it that. 11.5mm thick and 25mm lugs. Obviously that's based on the full lug length, and it tapers down towards the clasp. Yeah, that's it really. A very cool watch. Only 170 ever made. Again, I think the price we're asking is very fair, especially if you head straight to eBay, search, click on sold, you'll see they have sold more expensive than what we're selling this one for. So go pick it up. Something you won't see often to a brand you'll see probably all the time on the website. That is this Christopher Ward. Let's have a close look at this one. Next up, a watch I am a big fan of because I own the limited edition yellow version, which I was actually going to wear today, but I decided to go with the Mido instead. But this is the C65 Trident, manually wound, now discontinued, in the khaki green on this really gorgeous brown strap. Looks fantastic. Really long reference. I'm not going to read that off. You can see it on the website. This one's from January 2020. It does come with its box and paperwork, as you'd expect, and it's in fantastic condition. Now, as I said, this is manually wound. So inside here is a manually wound Sellita SW210, which is a very reliable workhorse movement, again, as you'd expect from Christopher Ward. And the price of this will surprise you. It is incredibly well priced for how much watch you are getting. And I'm not just talking design-wise, I'm also talking build quality-wise. You know, Christopher Ward are fantastic. We had a conversation with a customer yesterday, and he was asking my opinion on loads of brands. And when he came to Christopher Ward, it was incredibly glowing because I think the brand are doing great things. I think the watches have always been brilliant. The only point of contention a lot of people have is the logo. You know, it's been going on so long now, it's just a boring conversation. Whenever someone mentions the logo to me now, I just sort of fall asleep because get over it, move on, it's fine. It looks fantastic, they're great watches, and I really, really like them. But let's show this one on wrist and talk dimensions. There you go, it wears so well, and this is why I absolutely love my yellow. This is 41mm by 47mm lug to lug, only 11.5mm thick and 22mm lugs. Endless options. If you love this, I'd recommend picking up the bracelet that they sell on the website. It just improves the whole wearability to me personally. I wear my yellow on the bracelet, and I think it's just going to stay on that forever. And if I own this, I'd probably put it on a bracelet as well. However, this looks very good on straps, so I don't think the yellow one does particularly, in my opinion. But go check this one out on the website for an absolute bargain. And last but no means least, we're going to have a look at this gorgeous Seiko Presage in 35mm. Next up, as I said, a Seiko Presage, which is absolutely gorgeous. Now, this is the smaller 35mm, which I think Seiko themselves call a ladies' watch. But to be honest, a gent could wear this if they like smaller watches. It's very much personal preference. I mean, I'm wearing a 35mm watch today, so I mean, I could theoretically wear this as well. But it's got that beautiful sort of glacier blue. I don't know what you'd actually call it, but it's like a very ice blue dial, almost bordering on white. Gorgeous texture. You know, you've got that cocktail time spark, as it often is referred to. You've got the bright blue second hand, beautifully faceted indices and hands with the date over there. It's a gorgeous design, there's no question about it. Sign crown over there at 3 o'clock. Spin it around, you've got an automatic Seiko caliber 4R35 beating away inside there, which is exhibition, which is nice, especially on ladies' watches, because usually they're always quartz. Or if they are mechanical, they're sort of hidden away. Whereas this one, they've made it very proud and showed it, which I think is really nice. Just come on its original bracelet, all links included. And this one is from July 2021 with full box and paperwork, as you'd expect. Yeah, there's not really an awful lot to say about this, other than it is a great watch for the money. As I say, perfect for him or for her. You know, maybe treat your partner to this if you're listening to this, and then you can nick it every now and again yourself and give it a whirl. That's the fun of watches. But let's show it on wrist and talk dimensions. And here we go on my wrist. I think I could just about get away with that. That is 34mm by 40mm lug to lug. I think I said 35mm earlier, I meant 34. This is 11mm thick and 17mm lug, so a bit awkward on that lug length, but it looks great on the bracelet. So, you know, pick up a brown leather strap off eBay or something like that and you'll be set. So go check this one out on the website. So there you have it, guys and girls. Another week and another 10 awesome watches, ranging from a couple of £100 up to over £10,000 and everything in between. This is what we do at Kibble Watches. This is what we intend to bring you every single week going forward. And so far we are doing that. And that's thanks to you guys and girls. You know, you are coming to us with your weird and wonderful stuff. You're coming to us with your mainstream classics. You know, keep that coming. Keep emailing us, keep messaging us, keep calling us. Not on Sunday and not repeatedly if I don't answer, please. But every other day, call us. There's no problem at all, and we'll get back to you. But that's it. We will see you all next time, and hopefully we'll see you at the London Watch Show at the weekend or the Friday if you come along to the exclusive event. You know, swing on by and say you know who we are. Don't just be a stranger, and we will probably have a few of these to give out. So, obviously, if you buy a watch, you'll get one as well. So, you know, buy a watch and then you'll get one anyway. We'll see you at the show. Take care.